yet they're round. And funny enough, they're cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down. What are human rights? What are human rights? With me, honestly, I'm going to be more like summarizing everything that has been told today. And in order for you to know human rights, you really don't have to be politically involved to learn about your human rights. All human beings are entitled to them, and you cannot be excluded from your own human rights. As flight attendants always say that put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person that you want to help could possibly go down. So I believe that this is the time for you today to learn more about your human rights. Human rights are not just about the law, and they are non-discriminatory. It was the traumatic events of the World War II that dramatically outraged the conscience of humankind. The extermination of almost 17 million people during the Holocaust, including 6 million Jews, horrified the whole entire world and proved that human rights were not always universally respected. So in 1948, governments worldwide made a concerted effort to foster international peace and recognize human rights. They recognize human rights to be the foundation for freedom, justice, and prevent conflict. What do I mean by saying this? After the war, representatives from I think it was 50 member states of the United Nations, they came together under the guidance of Eleanor Roosevelt to devise a list of all the rights that everybody across the world should enjoy today. Hence, today we have universal human rights. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months? Or maybe in the next year? How many of you have dreams and goals that you want to achieve? I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this in the chat box. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights. You'll have to remember that a right is a freedom of some kind. Like Musukwa already mentioned that the statement in Article 1 that people are born free and equal. This is not meant to imply that this is the actual state of affairs in the world, but something to which you are entitled by virtue of being human. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We all have the internal recognition of moral quality of one's motives and actions. We are born into this world and should be given the same opportunities and treat each other in such a way as proper to the relationship of a brother. To be free, it means that we have the ability to make our own choices as members of the community. Enjoying personal rights can be either choosing what college you go to or what career path you take. When you approach life with this right, it means that everyone should possess a like degree of dignity or having the same rights or privileges. I so wish you can just tell yourself today that, you know what, I'll have to make a difference within me. I'll have to make a difference to those around me. I'll have to make a difference in this world. In order for this world to be a better place, I'll have to make a difference. But in order for you to make that difference in this world, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. That hungry lion in the jungle, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. Lunch to that lion. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see that lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the mindset that we need for us to make a difference in this world. I believe that's the mindset that we need because I believe that we all rise together and we rise by lifting each other up. In Article 2, it mentions that human rights are the fundamental rights and freedoms that are all inherent to all human beings, regardless of gender, nationality, place of residency, sex, ethnicity, religion, or color. As someone who was born in the beautiful kingdom of Eswatini and now who calls Canada her first home, I am also entitled to those rights. And it's so funny because my mom and dad, they gave me this beautiful name, Nompumelelo. Nompumelelo in my own language, it means mother of success. So you can tell that I really have a challenge to chase after success. I really have a challenge to make a difference in this world. The right to life is one of the most fundamental human rights stipulated in the international law, since it focuses on protecting individuals' freedom from unreasonable detention as opposed to protecting personal safety. You have a right to your personal freedom, which is a positive obligation on the government to take steps to ensure that every individual's right to life is not violated as a result to socioeconomic deprivation or discrimination. Although the sanctity of life is a fundamental societal value, however, homelessness and poverty threaten life and security of some individuals and unfairly affect disadvantaged groups. Hence, we are all called to make a difference. We are all called to be kind. We are all called to be the voice of this world. As my everyday book says that learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, plead with the widow's cause. Honestly, with me, it was the death of George Floyd that made me realize that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of your skin color, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. So back in May last year, May 25th, George Floyd died in the police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this 46-year-old man, he was arrested and killed after an employee of a convenience store called 911 with Floyd's suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. So the video that was posted by a bystander shows George Floyd being pinned face down on the ground in handcuffs and one of the police officers kneeling on his neck as he pleaded for help. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And finally, he went silent. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Honestly, it is so impossible not to be outraged watching that video. That video of the Minneapolis police officer pressing the knee on Floyd's neck for a period reported to be 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I believe that everyone is born free and has a right to life. So no one should ever be subject to such unjustified violence. So, good people, this is a wake up call. This is a wake up call to be a voice to your community, to those around you. But in this wake up call, when the alarm clock goes off, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes, I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and be a voice in your community, in those around you? To those people who look at you as an inspiration, be a voice. Like Brittany already mentioned, that slavery is a violation of human rights because slavers and human traffickers claim ownership and the humanity of another human being, which strip human beings of all their inheritance rights. So according to the International Labour Organization, 11.4 million women and girls are victims of forced labor in different forms, including trafficking and forced prostitution. But there is hope because many organizations and governments around the world focus on improving the status of women and girls by having systems in place to provide adequate protection and assistance for these victims. These young girls and these young women have the right to be not to be submitted to slavery or forced labor or bonded labor. But when they are enslaved or trafficked, they don't have the access to the programs aimed at women's equality and development. I believe that something really, really needs to be done in this. Honestly, you really don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step, but you have to take the first step to get to the top. As my always go-to mentor always say that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. Like Amanda mentioned, that no one shall be deprived of his liberty, and this must never be limited or restricted in any way. The right includes freedom from the threat of physical punishment or suffering, such as deportation to a substantial risk of torture. Your right not to be tortured or treated in an inhuman or degrading way is absolute. And the right to recognition as a person is very vital, regardless of whether you are a citizen of a country or an immigrant or a student or just a tourist. You have that right to be recognized everywhere as a person before the law. That declaration to recognition as a person makes it in no doubt that an individual who is not who is not a national of that country shall not be denied this right. Maybe because they belong to a majority or minority group. So I believe that they all deserve that right to be recognized in that country. So I believe that this is our time, good people, to stand up and fight for what we believe in and stand up for our human rights. You know, it's so funny. When I was in the eighth grade, I'm gonna just cut it short. When I was in the eighth grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition with the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix, meaning I became successful again. It is so funny because that English teacher, she didn't know that the name Phoenix, it resonates with my life, and it also aligns with my destiny. For those of you who doesn't know the phoenix bird is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents to us capacity for vision and success. So I just want to encourage you that when your world comes crashing, wear your scars and show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your capability to rise from your own collapsed ruins. Because the phoenix bird has to die first, burn and experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down. Write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. If I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for maybe the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your future, but here is one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has better plans for every one of us. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we are all destined for greatness as long as we follow His strategy. This is when the growth commences because discovering your gift and following God's idea will make you understand that you have everything around you to reach to your full potential. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what talents, what skills, and what books will die with you? And he also continued that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the dreams, all the visions have been buried. I don't know about you, but with me listening to this message, honestly, it gave me sleepless nights. And I am really, really proud today to introduce Rise to Greater Heights book before you. This is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, especially under these circumstances. So, this book has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And you can get this book for a family member or a loved one who just need that inspiration to face the world with a positive mindset. And by the way, the legend himself, Mr. Les Brown, he wrote the foreword in this book. And I am really, really humbled by that. And you'll be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose driven, mentorship, coaching, resilience to greatness, emotional intelligence, mental health, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth. Growing up, I didn't have much because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. But I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, mom. I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. Because I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today onward, I, Nompumelelo Riel Bunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you. Thank you so much, amazing speakers. At this moment, I'll just let any speaker who feels like you have your final thoughts that you want to share with the audience. And also, if maybe you forgot how the audience can get hold of you, this is the right time for you to share all that information with the audience. So any speaker really can just jump in and share your final thoughts.
First, I would like to say again, thank you so very much for the opportunity. I would also like to thank, I think it's Amanda, right? I want to say congratulations to you on your endeavors, as well as the gentleman. I'm just honored to be amongst the midst. Sometimes people will push us to our destiny. They'll pave the way. Sometimes things can be short and sweet, but they'll choose to make it long and hard, and we have to show them how to work it. So though it don't feel right, I'm just honored to be a part amongst the midst. I can be reached at on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, and TikTok. I'm new to TikTok, but I can be reached there. And it's always Dr. Brittany C. Vinson. Make sure you spell it correctly. But again, thank you so very much. And I love your story and I love your passion. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for seeing me for me. A lot of times people can't see God for looking at us. So again, thank you and God bless.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Real, for having me today. It's such an honor to be on this podcast with everyone. And I hope to stay connected with you all and get connected with more people as well. If you want to reach out to me at all, you can reach me at yourlifematters.com, and we can stay connected. I'm on Facebook as well. I don't TikTok and I don't Twitter and I don't, I do have LinkedIn, but my kids TikTok and they try to get me to TikTok, but I do not TikTok. It's cute though. But yeah, definitely check out yourlifematters.com and can reach me there on Facebook. And thank you again, everyone, for sharing your stories. And thank you, Real, for this experience.
I would like also to say thank you, Rio Kunene, for this great opportunity. I thank Rise to Greater Heights for really having us today, and my friends Amanda and the doctor. So it has been really a wonderful experience to meet and share our stories and share knowledge which we have about human rights. I'd like to say that being an advocate, we continue to share. I'm available as a volunteer to share about human rights, to teach, to educate. Where there is necessity, you can just reach me on Facebook. I just use my name, Musukwa Wilonja. You'll be able to get me there. And you can get in the box. You can send me through Messenger. You can communicate with me, and then you can contact me in case you need me to come somewhere, need me to reach you so that I can teach, I can help. As a volunteer, I will be very glad to do that. And there are also many other things we're involved in. If you go to my Facebook, you'll realize that I'm really setting up a foundation where I try to fundraise for people with physical disabilities and helping them to get wheelchairs. And there are some people that we are helping, and we're going to continue helping other different people. I believe someday it will have a legal recognition and be able to roll up work. So that's me, and I'm happy to be here. The only feedback I can give is that hey, I'm available if you need me to help in teaching, educating people about human rights. Just you can raise me up, and I'll do that free of charge as a volunteer. Thank you very much for each one. And it's been a blessing to be part of this, and I look forward for another program. Thank you very much.
I also wanted to add, if I can, about I also am the founder and the CEO of the Carson and Kaisley Foundation. And those are my two daughters. However, the foundation, its formalities is simply to restore and secure the disabled and traumatized communities, and so if you guys would like to partner, whatever, I'm all for it. Collaborate, implement, whatever, our main focus is to make it where, or create a law where special needs children can be homeowners before they're the age of 18. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't want anybody to experience what we went through because they failed to make reasonable accommodations for my daughter. It wasn't about my mental health, but it was about her. And so if normally special needs children may get some type of income every month, I think it would give us parents a place of security and independence and a sense of relief. Also, I have a women empowerment group I just launched, the Matriarchs of the Nation, and we'll be able to bless people with opportunities to be a resource with anything. God is using people who can relate and not fake, and we're meeting people where they are. It's so many people who think God won't use them because of what they went through. How do we not know that we went through a situation to humble somebody else? So again, if y'all want to partner, create, whatever, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, and I'm ready. So thank you. And also a curriculum. We'll have a curriculum. The Carson Kaisley Foundation will also have a curriculum that is virtual. Eventually it might go physical, I don't know, but right now it'll be virtual, and it'll make reasonable accommodations for all families, anybody, special needs, not whatever, all families. We won't have physical education, we'll have mental education. This curriculum will not be like your normal curriculum. It will restore children from this pandemic. It will also allow them to be able to face adversity, finances, and be able to have respect, morals, goals, and things of such, and learn to know God or whatever. So again, if y'all want to partner, let's do it. That's all. I'm sorry.
Wow. No, all the speakers are doing an amazing job. So you guys should stay connected with the speakers. Trust me, your life will never ever be the same. We have lots and lots of questions, or it's not questions, it's compliments. But one has a question, and her name is Nakalanzi Allen. She's asking that. Okay, she's based in Africa, in Uganda. She's saying that if you're a girl and you don't have the right to inherit from your family belongings, but we don't know why. I'm not too sure if it's a question, but like to me, it's like she doesn't have a right to inherit from from her family's belongings. Is there anyone who wants to respond to this question, Nakitende? And thank you, Nakitende, for watching. And Nakitende, I think she's referring this message to Pastor Mosokwa, because she's saying that Esther and Nancy, they are watching live from Itende, and they love you so much. So anyone who can respond to Nakalanzi Allen's question, I would really appreciate that.
I appreciate the question, and I greet Esther and Nancy and all other viewers who are following us from Africa and other different parts. I know them in person, and Esther is my wife, so hey, greetings to you. About the question which is being given about inheritance, and when we come to human rights, this is one important question, is that there's always a challenge. Like in Africa, they believe that inheritance is for the men. I mean, the boys, the male children in the family are the one having the rights for inheritance, and the female don't have to. But one thing we need to understand is that this is simply prejudice. And because there's an argument that in Africa, there's an argument that women are not equal to men. So there's that kind of prejudice there. Women are not equal to men. Women should not be treated in the same way as men should be treated. Everyone coming from Africa will understand what I'm talking about. And this prejudice makes it so women to become discriminated in terms of inheritance. And that is the problem. But they forget one thing, is that these children, I mean, the female are also children in this family. And being children, they have rights by the fact they are just children in that family. So we need to call upon our customary laws and the laws in our countries that people can make some improvement. But again, I'm not here to give that advice. Primarily, mine is just simply to educate, show that women, my goal here is not to argue in a legal perspective, but my role is simply to show Nakalanzi is that she's a woman and she has the same human rights like the male in the family. And therefore, being a child in that family, she has also right to inheritance like any other child. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor. Any other speaker wants to share?
So in the United States, in terms of inheritance, it's not favored between male and female. I would suggest having a will be made with giving prospective people different things of, whatever they're wanting to have. In the United States, a married couple, if one passes, then the other one automatically will get the inheritance, unless it's specified out in a living will, which I've been taking a financial peace university class. So I've learned a lot about this living will and insurances and different things also. And one of the things that was mentioned was that it's really funny that it's called a living will, because you don't actually have any of it until you die. So it's kind of an oxymoron. Yeah, so the only way that children will receive inheritance is if it's specified in a will or they are a power of attorney of someone's property.
Mm-hmm.
Informationally speaking, of course.
Thank you, Amanda.
You're welcome.
I don't want to leave you out, Dr. Vincent.
I don't have anything to add to that. They did great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, thank you so much, amazing speakers, for just taking your time to be with us today from your busy schedule. So this is the end of the podcast. And to our viewers online, thank you so much today to join us at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, especially under this pandemic situation. So I am glad that you've managed to join us today. I hope you've been inspired, motivated, and ready to rise to greater heights. So please do join us at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Yabonga.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. Only one sing. Let him leave traps and mess great. Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep. Let him yell, let him stand. Only one must say. Let him name me trapped. Let I be me instead of playing games. For she's fame, let somebody spit the lack of flames. No, live my life to the fullest. Shalat mahala to the fullest. Let my life to greater heights.
Okay. Now it's only us. I just don't know what's happening. Yeah,